Okay, so a little while ago I made a video, this was years ago, I made a video about the water getting into the taillights of my mom's Malibu Classic. I don't know how that water keeps getting in there. Oh, that was fun. Well, I tried to do a remedy with electrical tape, putting electrical tape around all of the sides, trying to seal it off, but it did last a while. Now it's doing it again. This side's actually still in really good shape from the looks of it. There's a bulb burnt out on that side too, I gotta fix. But the front headlights now also now have water in them. So the visibility is actually not that good. Both headlights now, this one I think is worse than the other one. So you can kind of see that. So after doing some research, I've decided to take all of them off and I'm going to try to reseal it using silicone caulking. Hopefully that'll fix it. So it's a technique that I'm pretty sure you can use on any other car, any make or model. I might even do this one even though it's not showing anything yet, but since I'm going to have them all off. And then of course, it's going to vary by car how you take your tail lamp or headlights and tail lamps off. Some cars like this one, they have these twisty things here that you would take off. There's, oh, it's over here. Same on that side. And I think the headlights in this car come off with the clips. They just have the clips. So that's what we're going to do today. Ugly. Okay, tail lamp lenses are off. I was thinking about maybe just disconnecting the connectors with the bulbs in them and putting them away, but I think I'm just gonna tie some plastic around them. This one bulb's burnt out. That one right there. I got the headlights off too. Looks funny. So I'll have to, like I said, plastic all around those bulbs and connectors. Looks funny. And there they are. That's where we stand now. Okay, so I've got all the light lenses inside. You can actually kind of tell they actually dried out a little bit on their own from the time that they were in the car. Those ones, like I said, man, actually I dumped quite a bit of water out of that one when I first took it off. So actually what I'm going to do now is we're going to want to make sure that it's all clean before we even add the caulking to it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to actually wash these in my basement with some car wash solution. That way you know, I'll probably clean around the back, and if water gets in them, oh well. I'm gonna let them dry for a while on their own. Probably not actually gonna get to the caulking stuff tonight because I have a couple of other things to do, so it'll actually give them a nice chance to dry on their own, and they'll be clean, dry, and then we can go ahead and start the actual procedure of sealing them up. Okay, I got one off. You can see all this dirt that had been sitting in there for so long, but yeah, so it might be kind of, it's probably going to be a little difficult to put back on. Oh, there's like, it's so dirty. But yeah, so the gasket's off. Now it's basically just, you know, the lens in the back of the housing. So we'll wash it up. You might actually even, oh no, it was sealed once before, but yeah, you can see in spots where there's no seal there. It's sealed up on the top from the looks of it. Yeah, they sealed it up on top. It's sealed over here. There's nothing over here. Nothing on the bottom. Oh wait, there might have been a seal in the bottom one time. We're going to run the silicone back along the edge here where the lens meets the back of the housing all the way around. This taillight here is actually the one, you can see the water in it, but this is the one that I actually worked on a couple years ago, and like I said, I put electrical tape all the way around the sides, and the tape is actually still on there. It is peeling in some spots. I'm actually surprised at how well that held up. So hopefully, just by, you know, kind of going around the gaskets and such, hopefully it's not actually coming in through the back where the you know, where the light bulbs go in. It's one big piece on this particular car, so I'm hoping that the actual piece that goes into there is not the problem. Okay, my camera's gonna die real quick here probably. So these are done. I washed them. The headlights, the gaskets are off of them. Tried to clean all the crud off of those as well. The tail lamps, I actually ended up taping both tail lamps. I knew for a fact I did this one. I forgot that one I'd done probably as a precaution. But the gaskets actually don't necessarily come off all the way, because I mean they could. But the gasket on this one was a lot more. It was weaker than the one that's on the other light. Like this here, this is actually still intact into the lens, whereas like over here it actually, yeah, like right there. So we're gonna go all the way around with that. So these will dry tonight, and hopefully by tomorrow they'll be somewhat dry on the inside. The nice thing about actually washing out the insides of these is both of the headlights actually had pieces of the orange coating from the turn signal marker bulbs, so I was able to flush those out, so the insides were flushed out, and they actually, you know, look kind of foggy now. So we'll see how they look tomorrow. Well, it's the following morning. I chose a great day to leave those headlights off that car, because not only is it raining, but it's turning to snow. That being said, all of the lenses are here upstairs with me now. There's still a little bit of water beads inside of them, but once we get the seal on, and I'll let the seal dry, I might use my shop vac to blow out the inside, maybe blow the water out. But they're not going to go on right away, so they still have plenty of time to dry here in the house. Here's the gaskets for the headlights. They are just about 100% dry. And the same thing with the tail lights, is there's still a couple beads inside also, so we have the same situation. So this is what I bought. It was some of the cheaper stuff. they kind of told me that I can use anything for this. So this is actually a acrylic latex caulk plus silicone. So of course it's interior and exterior, it's waterproof and such. So like I said, we're just going to basically apply it along here. You can kind of see where the old stuff is, but we're just going to reapply it all the way around, and you know, around the bottom. Then we'll let it dry. We'll put the gaskets back on. I might not have to silicone this back on because these actually were on there pretty tight. They hold on with these little rubber tabs, so I might not have to actually silicone that. We'll see how well they fit back on. But once it's resealed all the way around, then we'll let it dry. We'll put the gasket back on. Same thing with the tail lamps. Like I said, the tail lamps, they don't come off all the way. I mean, they could probably, but I'm just going to fold this back. This is the one that was leaking really bad. But you can see how loose the gasket is here. So I'm just going to kind of peel it back and squeeze some of that caulking up in there, and then we'll just push it back on. And then, since this is what it looked like after I tore the tape off, we're just going to go up inside the crevice with the caulking and then place that back up in there. So that's where we stand now. Okay, so here's what I've got so far with the left headlight lens. It doesn't look the best, but hopefully you probably won't even be able to see it because that gasket's going to be around it on this particular car anyway. So that's what we're doing so far. They're all done. They're still drying. This stuff actually dries somewhat pretty decently. This is the first headlight that I did. It is all almost completely dry. Toward the bottom, there's a lip on this particular headlight, so it was actually easier to kind of fill in. However, if you really look inside, you might probably going to be able to see it at the bottom of the lens, but I don't really think you're going to notice that unless you're actually looking for it. So it's all sealed around. This one is the same, so it's all sealed around. The left tail lamp is a disaster right now because the rubber molding would not stay in the bottom of the light. So as you can see, it took me several tries to get it to stick. I'm not really concerned about the back of it, how it looks, but trying to get it to seal up. So this one's gonna need, hopefully I'll be able to clean it pretty well. And the other one actually applied much nicer because the seal was not coming off as bad. So, alright, so it's been several hours later, and these feel like they're just about completely dry. At least all the thin parts are. I tried cleaning up around the lens a little bit more. That's the nice thing about this particular caulking, is that it actually comes off of the plastic really easy if you try to peel it. So this one actually turned out a lot nicer than the left tail light, but I'm still a little concerned about this one because when I was trying to adhere this part here back to the bottom of the lens, it wasn't wanting to stick. So that's actually why it's so messy, is because I was working on it several tries. I might just buy a Sharpie and I might just, you know, kind of just trace it around the sides, because this coming off this seal, it's kind of difficult, and I don't want to risk actually peeling the seal back away from the lens again. So I might just buy a Sharpie and kind of go along there to cover that up. And the back has been resealed also around where the seal comes around. It gets solid up there, so didn't really worry about up there too much. Just around these sides here. So that should be all done. And this one, like I said, turned out a lot nicer. A couple of areas up around here that I might have to touch up some, but not nearly as sloppy looking as that one. And like I said, this light actually didn't have that much of a leaking issue. The seal did come off around the side a little bit, but it was still intact, most on the top and on the bottom. Now as far as the headlights again, they're also dry. Really nothing different here. They're dried all the way around. I'm going to put the seal back on them in a minute or so. But first I'm going to get my headlamp polish and try to get rid of the the cloudiness on these lenses. Try to make them look as new as possible. Nice thing about that stuff is you don't have to put it in water yet, so it's a rub on, rub off type thing. And we'll see if I can get them looking as new as possible. Then we'll put the seal on. Alright, well I think this is probably going to be the best that I can do with this one. There's still a little bit of film up in this part. I've tried to wipe it off several times, and it does seem to look a little bit clearer, but it's not perfect. But hopefully that'll do some improvement. I'm going to go ahead and do that one next. This one was the worst out of the two. Alright, both headlights were polished, and I put the gasket back on. Getting the gasket back on these particular headlights actually was not that hard. I thought it was going to be a little more difficult than what it was, so that's done. All I'm going to do is go buy a big Sharpie and go along that seal there. And I don't know if I'm going to go back out tonight to put these on or not. I don't think it's snowing right now. The snow is coming, the temperatures are cold. I might just let these sit here in my house for another night and maybe then take them back. I still have to wait for the rest of the water in these to dry anyway, so. Alright, so the Sharpie helped clean them up a little bit. This one still looks really good. You can still kind of see the white outline on this one. But at least the actual seal itself looks better. The good news is these lenses have completely dried, so there's no more water in them. They are now ready to be reinstalled into the car. The bad news is it snowed like crazy. So hopefully all the plastic stayed on my mother's car while these were here. And hopefully the temperature won't let them fog up, because it did get really cold. These have been here for like 2 days. The day I took them off it was 70 some degrees, and now we are in the low 30s. It's amazing in Ohio how these things happen. Alright, well the plastic's still on the back. Ugh. Yeah, they're still covered up. Alright, so Now I gotta brush the car off. Okay, so I have all the lamps, lenses, and lights installed, hooked back up. Since it's cold, I'm just gonna go ahead and start the car up. Hopefully we don't run into any issues. I did run into one issue with that one bulb that was burnt out in the back, and that was basically, well, I'll explain here in a second. Gotta be very careful not to touch these bulbs either with your fingers, because they explode when you get the grease on them. The high beams and the low beam lights. So those are working. High beams work. Awesome. So the socket with this bulb, I took the other one out and it was very difficult to get out. So now I can't get the new one in. The terminal is corroded, probably from all the water that's been in there. So I'm gonna have to buy some, like maybe some dilated grease soon, and I'll come back when it's warmer and I'll apply that to the socket. And another bulb burnt out. Wow. Other than that, they work. I'll have to take that one back off and put the one bulb in there. So yeah, alright, well, other than that, it doesn't really look too bad. These back ones, you can see a little bit of the white still, but at least we covered up the seal with the marker. So those look really good. If you want to do a neater job, I should have said maybe get like a syringe or something smaller to maybe fill in those cracks. I didn't have anything, so I just applied it with my caulking gun and my finger. These ones, on the other hand, look pretty flawless. You wouldn't even know. Alright. Alright, and that is how we do that. So hopefully this will work out for you, and hopefully it'll work out for me. If I don't have a video up soon, then it was a success. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.